This is not the greatest song in the world. No, no, this is just a tribute. Oh, hi, Mark. Welcome. Sorry, buddy. Welcome to another episode of It's All About the Music. Chris Norwood on a journey to hear every song ever recorded. And I've got a big stack of sweet, sweet CDs piled up in front of me right here. And we're going to be talking today about the greatest albums of all time. Are you guys ready? Okay, so lately there's been a lot of talk on YouTube with us music nerd folk about the latest 500 greatest albums of all time by Rolling Stone. And I would make the argument that Rolling Stone has pretty much gone the way of MTV and is irrelevant in today's music world. All that matters, really, is my pick for the top 20 greatest albums of all time. And as I was back there digging through my CD collection, it was really tough because I love every CD back there, love every album. So it was really hard. I wanted to do 10, but I couldn't pick 10. But I guess actually I did, because this is my top 20, so I guess the top 10 would be my top 10, right? But it was really hard. I absolutely could not live without some of these records. So let's just jump right in. Did not want to omit anything that was just like really such a good record. And while doing this, I did see, and I kind of knew it was coming. I'm a huge alternative and punk fan, and so a large chunk of this, it's all rock and roll. I wanted to try to include some other things in there, but I was just trying to be honest with my opinion, right? And this is my opinion, and it's all rock and roll. There's really no other genres in here. But as far as subgenres, it's going to be a lot of alternative and punk for the greatest albums of all time. And I feel like I've got a pretty unique perspective. I don't think that anyone has this top 20. I really don't. So stick around. There's some really weird albums in here. And let's just jump right into it. Coming in first, this one I was a little bit, I didn't know whether to include it, and then I just looked at you just gotta look at the songs, right? You look at the songs, you look at the artwork, and you say, hey, yeah, I really, really like this album. Coming in at number 20 in the greatest albums of all time and space and the entire universe is going to be Stain's Chapter 5. What do you guys think about that? I'm a pretty big Stained fan, a little bit of an Aaron Lewis fan, but this is really great. And this came out in 2005. It's just a really, really good Stained album. I feel like overall, it maybe, some of the other albums maybe have a song or two that's better than these, but all 12 of these are pretty good. And that's how I tried to rank these, or that's how I tried to pick from my big collection back there, is are there any bad songs on these records? And Stain Chapter 5, there really aren't. It's kind of short and sweet. It's 12 songs and out. And we'll talk a little bit about that too as we go through. I believe, now, it's kind of the average CD is like, between 10 and 14 songs. So that one was 12 songs. This next one's a really unusual pick, and a lot of you maybe have not even heard of this. If you're a Green Day fan, you've probably heard of it. The Network, Money Money 2020. Okay? This is how can I describe this? This is not a side project by Green Day. This is not Green Day wearing masks. It is and it's really freaking amazing. This was something they recorded right before making American Idiot, and it's really entertaining, and I've been waiting, I've been waiting 17 years plus for a sophomore album from these guys. If you like Green Day, maybe, but you want them a little bit more Devo-esque and wearing masks, that is the perfect record for you. Please check it out. It's got very little attention except in the Green Day Authority underground world. You guys ready? That was my 20 and 19th favorite albums. Coming in next is going to be this is an underrated one for sure. Everclear's Invisible Stars. Now, I've talked a lot about Everclear, how they've lost their status as my favorite band, and they have. And I think after 2003, they just had a horrific decline in quality. So when this came out in 2012, and it was better, it was one of their best albums ever, I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. Usually when a band goes this far as Everclear did off of the deep end, they never come back like this. And this is just the comeback album of their entire career. And, you know, again, it didn't really perform well, I don't think. But it is a perfect record. It's a perfect record in my opinion. Gorgeous, gorgeous in every way. Love all 12 tracks on that one. Coming in next is going to be one of my all-time favorite bands, Blink-182. I had a tough time finding which Blink-182 record to pick, and I didn't want to just go back and look at my ranking of the albums. I just wanted to like pick one like from the gut, from the hip, shooting from the hip, and I just kept looking at this one. I was like, you know what? This one is darn near perfect. It's a darn near perfect record, and it's the last really great record that Blink-182 made with Tom DeLonge. So it's a really fine record. I'd say I'm Lost Without You is probably one of my least favorites on here, but even it is not bad. So it's a near perfect record. Near perfect. Near perfection. Coming in next. Oh man, I love this one. It's on Digipack. Ooh. Tasty. Some Tasty Alkaline Trio. This came out in 2003. What a record. Wow, this could be love. I'd say we've had enough. Put a walk among us on and turn it off. Ain't nothing in the airwaves in the despair we feel. Emma felt like an angel, Emma felt like rain, into my lap like a heart attack, like lightning from her name. I'm running dry, something excuses, I don't want to lie or seem intrusive, but time hasn't taught me anything, and neither has she. Oh, the chorus of Emma. If you haven't heard Emma by Alkaline Trio, a poinsettia poison rain, traded true love for insult and injury, we washed it down the drain. Oh man, oh man. Check this record out. This is a fine, that's the best Alkaline Trio record for me right now at the moment. If you go back and look at my ranking the studio albums, heck, maybe I had a different pick. But, man, right now, that's what I'm feeling in the moment. This next one, I had a really relationship with this record. A really relationship with this one. I even got these birds tattooed on my body. Shinedown, The Sound of Madness, 2008. Love the album art. It's got a little bit of a different thing where you can, like, take that cover out and the birds are different. Like it's a separate thing. pretty cool. Like that. Perfect. The perfect Shinedown record right here. It's 11 songs, and every single one of them is kick butt amazing. This next one is just one of the most emotional records I think I've ever heard, and one of the best looking, in my opinion. Man, I got some emotional turmoil with this one. This one came out the same year as The Sound of Madness. This is Blue October's Approaching Normal, and it's a much different record than Shinedown, for sure. This is just too emotional to even talk about. Actually, there's two versions of this album, and there's two different bonus tracks. I got the explicit one because those are always better. And the bonus track, The End, on this explicit version of Approaching Normal, actually, it's heartbreaking. Actually caused Justin, the lead singer of Blue October, to have issues in his custody battle with his for his child, and man, that's too heartbreaking for me to even talk about right now. Coming in next is a little bit more lighthearted fare. And keep in mind, guys, these are the greatest albums of all time, according to me. Kid Rock. Kid Rock's Cocky. 2003 again. I'm just one. Those early 2000s, man. Early 2000s. That's when all the best music was coming out. Snoop Dogg is on here. Sheryl Crow's on here. And this is just Kid Rock. You know, he was always jumping around to the different genres. But this one he really perfected it with this one. Just so many really, really great sounding songs. There's absolutely nothing bad on this record. The red, white, blue. Who knew the kid would be? Nope, not doing it. Okay, moving on next. How many punk records? We've done like, how many of these? 1, 2, 3. So 3 punk records so far. Here's going to be another one. Flogging Molly's Within a Mile of Home. Irish punk rock band with all the fiddles and violins and accordions that you could ever need. Really emotional albums. I think that's sort of the core of what makes me like a record, is when it's super emotional. This next one is emotional, and it's also smart and political and scientific at the same time. Bad Religions, The Empire Strikes First. The only Bad Religion that I know of, it came out in 2004. Again, that's just, man, that's a killer time period for music, right? The only Bad Religion, first and only album by Bad Religion, to feature a rap on Let Them Eat War. It doesn't even say who it is on the back, but look it up. Bad Religion, Let Them Eat War, rapping on a Bad Religion album for the first time. Coming up next is one that a lot of you may not have heard of. This band is amazing, particularly as they shift genres with each and every release, and they're one of the most underrated creative bands in all of history. This is them on the back, and this is Rehab, Graffiti the World. And this band, actually, it was almost tied, because they have about 3 albums that are just as good as this one, that could have easily been in this greatest albums of all time. But this is pretty classic Rehab right here. Graffiti the world with skyscrapers. Bartender, I really did it this time. Broke my career. Here to have a good time. When I got home, it was 3:20 a.m. The door was locked, so I kicked it in. And in my drunken stupor, I did what I should never did. Oh, 1980. Bottles and Cans, Lawn Chair High, This Town, Red Water. If you haven't heard Red Water by Rehab, keep watching my video and then watch that later. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. Sorry, buddy. Coming in next is going to be another band that's like, I initially wanted to put this one a lot higher because this band is near perfect. Almost their entire discography is perfect. System of a Down. And again, I was kind of, just because every album by them is in fact perfect, except for, I believe their self-titled had one song that I'm not crazy about, but I was torn between this one and the rest of their discography. Toxicity is their big one, I know, and even Mesmerize, Hypnotize, the double album. But this one is my favorite right now. I wish I got the different covers, but I like this cover. I like it. It's been with me for some time, and I like looking at it. System of a Down. Come on. Get it together, people. Just fire Surge Tank in and keep on going. Okay, Scars on Broadway is kick butt. They're on fire. Just let Darren be in control of the band. Replace Surge Tank in with somebody else. He can go make boring music with keyboards and scat singers all he wants to. Just get rid of him and let Darren be the creative brains. And just let Darren do everything in System of a Down because he's good at it. So let him do it. As far as the financial part, yeah, split the money 4 ways. Makes me mad. Makes me so mad. This next record, again, a 2003, I believe it was a 2003 release. Rancid's Indestructible. Now, this one's the longest one. Still, this album was pretty long, but this one's got 19 tracks, all of them perfect. And this album just really got me through some rough times. I was having a lot of family illness at the time, and this thing really got me through it. Thank you, Tim Armstrong, and Lars, and everybody else. That just, oh man. Matt and Brett Gurewitz from Bad Religion, who was on my list, in another capacity. So he's pretty significant in the music world. Coming in next is going to be a concept record. What do you guys think it's going to be? My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. I knew what it was called. The Black Parade. Really great album. Definitely My Chemical Romance's best album by far. And I don't want to say by far. Actually, I was kind of torn between this and Danger Days, oddly enough. I really, Danger Days is almost as good as this. But this one is just flipping epic beyond epicness. You guys having fun? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more albums to go. So my top 10 would be, so you got Rehab, System of a Down, Rancid, and My Chemical Romance. Now we are in the top 6. Top 6. Ooh, this one was such an iconic record for me that I almost wanted it to be in my top 2. But there's just so much good music out there. This is Barenaked Ladies, Stunt. This is the one that started my love affair with Barenaked Ladies. Ooh. And this is just, oh my gosh, this is one of the best alternative rock albums ever. Ever, ever, ever. There's a pair on the back. There's some guys. Tom Lordowns is all over the place on this list. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. All the way to When You Dream, What Do You Dream About? I think never is enough, I never is enough. You never have to do that stuff. I think never is enough, yeah, never is enough. I never want to do that stuff. Who needs sleep? Well, you're never gonna get it. Who needs sleep? Tell me, what's that for? Who needs sleep? Be happy with what you're getting. There's a guy been awake since the Second World War. Who needs sleep? Well, you're never gonna get it. Who needs sleep? Tell me, what's that for? Who needs sleep? Be happy with what you're getting. There's a guy been awake since the Second World War. Speaking of war, the next band is emotional beyond emotions. This band is probably one of the saddest bands of all time, and I think that's sort of something running through all my favorite bands. Like, these are sad sacks. I'm a sad sack. Stained, The Network, Everclear, Blink-182, Alkaline Trio, Shinedown, Blue October, Kid Rock, Flogging Molly, Bad Religion, Rehab, System of a Down, Rancid, My Chemical Romance, and Barenaked Ladies. Some sad flippin' sacks, but nobody's sadder or sackier than Cold. This is one of the greatest bands of all time, people, and this is their best record. See them in concert, listen to their music, and cry your eyes out. In a good way. This band, I don't think they've ever had even a moment of happiness in their music. But you kind of become happy with them because it sounds like the music is kind of something that comes up in Green Day music where the lyrics are sad and depressing, but there's a hope in the music. And Cold really does that same thing really well, where the lyrics are about everyone you know dying and you being sick and them being sick and everyone leaving you and everyone hating you, but there's hope. I mean, gosh, man, I could make a whole video about this record. It's my number 5 record. I gotta put it down. I'm gonna get all emotional and freak out and ruin the video. And I mean, look at all the acting Buddy's been doing back there. I can't reshoot this. I cannot reshoot. Coming in next. Oh man, I think I ranked these. I think I was honest with myself. Excuse you, buddy. This is an album that really kind of, it's easy to be annoyed with this band about this album because they came to hate it because of the response that it got. Weezer's Pinkerton. Blue is perfect as well, near perfect, but this one is absolutely perfect in every way. And I hate that Rivers Cuomo cannot come to terms with the emotional aspects of this. If this was negative, sure, it was, an absolute, a man dealing with some really nasty emotions. And it's fine if he doesn't have those bad, negative feelings anymore, but maybe he could get more emotional because he hasn't been emotional in a Weezer song since 1996. So maybe he needs to get emotional, maybe, whether, in a completely different way, maybe positive emotions. But that's just a sick album. I agree with them that it's sick and twisted, but that's a compliment, man. Are you guys agreeing with any of these so far? Any of you guys have these as your favorite records of all time? Because now we are in deep. Okay, We are in very, very deep. We are at my top 3 records of all time. And guess what, guys? I'm not gonna spoil it, but I will give you a little bit of a hint. I know for a fact you can't guess unless you fast forward. All 3 of these are punk rock records, okay? Or, alternative / punk. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8. Most of, about half of my top 20 records have been punk rock. So it is what it is. I love a lot of other genres. I have a lot of rap records. I have a lot of pop records, a lot of heavy metal records, hard rock records. Started to listen to a lot of classical and jazz lately. But these are my favorites. Alternative and punk, hands down, the best thing that music has ever come up with. Ever. If you disagree, if you're wrong for whatever reason, that's fine. I just need you to go listen to Pinkerton immediately. Check out Cold and Rehab. They're kind of the lesser known bands on my list. Cold, Rehab, Everclear, even Blue October doesn't get a lot of credit in the mainstream. Alkaline Trio, either. So, it's time for 1, 2, and 3. But I'm starting with 3 and going to 2 and 1. So it's going to be 3, 2, 1. Are you guys ready? You guys are ready. These are mind blowing. These are the 3 best albums ever in the history of music, period, from the beginning of time till 2020. Coming in at number 3, the 3rd greatest album of all time. This one's underrated too. Oh man, oh man. Plus 44, When Your Heart Stops Beating. Side project from Blink-182 members, Mark and Travis, along with a few other guys from some other bands. And I enjoyed this more than Blink-182. This is, we all know that Blink-182 has had a lot of issues with Tom DeLonge, essentially. And Mark and Travis just want to keep it going no matter what. And they did this while Blink-182 was not functioning. And this is hands down better than that Blink-182 record, that self-titled, untitled record that I had, farther down on my list. This is, oh my gosh, this is some of the best music I've ever heard in my life. Every song is a highlight. The title track is great. And what we got here, we have some of the best songs ever. In Little Death, Weatherman, No It Isn't, and one of the greatest songs of all time, if not the greatest song of all time, 155 by Plus 44. I know that's a lot of numbers, but they all add up to 199. And 199 is pure music perfection. I am going to now sing this entire record to you because that's how important this record is. Come on, Blink-182, break up, let Matt Skiba go to Alkaline Trio, and let Mark and Travis go back to making the greatest music of all time. Ah! Please, that's how much I love Plus 44. They've got one record, and they're like my 2nd or 3rd favorite band of all time. Oh my goodness gracious. That's like, they have one record, but they have the most perfect discography ever. 13 tracks of pure punk rock, alternative rock, perfection. I recently learned I've gotten obsessed with unboxing videos, and mine is a different color than everybody else's. Everybody else's is blue and mine's green. I don't know, but I like my green one. Mwah! Oh man. Oh man. Plus 44. Like I said, destroy Blink-182, let it die, and make 20 albums with Plus 44. I hate math, but man, this one almost makes me love math. That's how. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And that was my third favorite record of all time. The third greatest record ever. Holy moly. And of course, I think, Weezer's wasn't explicit, but yeah, that one was explicit content. And my top two are going to be explicit content as well. Parental advisory, explicit content. A lot of F words being thrown around here. Oh my goodness. Oh my lordy. Oh, and this is another one with a common member with Plus 44. Are you guys ready? No, it's not one of those other bands from one of those other guys. It is the Transplants. Haunted Cities. This is a masterpiece. This is not mine. This is subjectively, objectively, in every way, the second greatest album in the history of ever. Now this has members from a lot of different. We've got the frontman from, I almost got that wrong. Rancid, Tim Armstrong. We've got Travis Barker from Blink-182, Plus 44. Wow. Travis Barker showed up 3 times in 3 different bands on my list. Travis Barker is killing it. Mark Hoppus is killing it. Tom DeLonge is stupid. I'm just kidding, Tom. I like your alien hunting mission. I hate all your other bands, but you know, whatever floats your boat. Everybody just needs to let Tom chase aliens and just leave them out of their bands at this point. That's what he wants to do, so he'd be happy, we'd be happy. Angels and Airwaves sucks. But this is the greatest. Nope, I can't say that. It's the second greatest punk rock record in all of history. Haunted Cities. Not today! No chance! No way! These guys, Transplants, have actually invented their own genre. It's an amalgamation of punk rock and hip hop. It's not punk rock and hip hop together. They are completely fused into a new genre here that is the heaviest thing that I've ever heard. A lot of features on here, but the features don't even drag it down. They just make it better. You got Scene Dog, Booyah Tribe, Unexplainable Gang, Transplanted, But I Came, West Forward. They love the music, so let the funky beat blaze. Be Real on California. Oh my goodness. Rocka on Crash and Burn, the album closer. The 12 songs on here are perfect in every way. Some highlights. Well, they're all highlights. This entire album is a highlight. The absolute peak of musical greatness. One of the greatest songs ever written, ever. Madness. Track number 8, Madness, on Haunted Cities by Transplants. It has the best rap verses, period. Madness! I'm going to have to read through some of these because Skinhead Rob is the greatest rapper in all of time and space. And I'm going to try to not do this justice at all, because I know I'm not going to. He's got this really raspy voice. It's just, he can rap, he can sing. He's even like in a really hardcore punk band where he does some like just guttural screams. But he's a great rapper, greatest rapper of all time. Move over, Jay-Z. Move over, Kanye West. I'm from the West Coast, best coast, pump in the trench coat. Nothing like Columbine. Everybody gets smoked. Heard that I got smoked? Nah, I got smoked. Best Mary Jane right down to the rock coat. You think tits broke? Take him to the river. They dropped the dog gang, I was messing up my liver. Yet still I deliver like the first of 15. And I still leave a grill for like your first 16. Madness! And then I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to go backwards into this song because Madness. Go listen to Madness right now by Transplants. Skin and Rob, bleep a bleep. No, I never gave a bleep. Good or bad, past or present. No, I never say such a... I need a... It ain't too flossy. One that's down to hold my own and bust and need to get on me. She's the baddest, baddest girl who's up in the club. Same one that's in the parking lot reloading the snubs. And that's the one that get my love and you can call it what you want. But if that is down to ride, and I'm a flaunt. Madness! This is pure madness that I'm talking about. Pure madness in Old Town. This is pure madness that we're talking about. And I can't believe we're gonna do it again. Pure madness that we're talking about. Pure madness all time now. Pure madness that we're talking about. Pure madness that I don't know. Seriously, guys, this is, just, oh my gosh. There's the gas mask man. Oh, Haunted Cities. This is creativity at its peak. This is the most original album I've ever heard. Nobody is making music like this. Nobody on the planet is making music like this. This is the greatest. They made their own genre and they perfected it within 2 albums. It's ridiculous. Not Today, Apocalypse Now. I just want to sing all these. Gangsters and thugs, criminals and hoods. Some of my friends sell records. Some of my friends sell drugs. Gangsters and thugs. And such a sadness to these. Really, even the boastful rapping, it's sad. It's like, it's just, oh my gosh. Emotional gold here. What I Can't Describe featuring Booyah Tribe. I take my last breath. It's like I'm dead inside, dead inside, dead inside. It's like I'm passive. It's what I can't describe. And then the rapping comes in, and I'm getting teary-eyed. Just this song is kind of like rhythm and blues, and it just breaks my heart. And it's my favorite non-rock and roll tune of all time on this amazing kind of rock rap record. They say money can't buy me love, and that's true, but money can't buy me drugs, so that's cool. The best of the worst, skin and Rob, riding lonely, so I'm really kind of loaded, and I'm feeling kind of lonely. Up a wet one, torn back, tip in the fifth, punch drunk with the pistol that he probably missed. Any chance that I have to turn my house to a home, time's up, game's over. I'm dying alone. Oh my gosh. He's got skull tattoos. This guy. Really repping the bald-headed crew. Man, so that is why, these last 4 records, Cold, Weezer, Plus 44, Transplants, these records just make me bawl my eyes out. And that is why they are in the top 5 greatest records ever. There's only one thing left to do, guys. there's only one thing more emotional. I'm gonna freaking cry. That's, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, holy crap. As good as that stuff was, as good as those 19 records were, throw them all in the trash. Throw them all in the trash, because I have the record. I have my Desert Island record. It's trying to blind me with science right now. Everything about this record, this band, and I'm going to keep you guys in suspense for a little bit because this is important. This is the greatest album ever in the history. This is the greatest piece of artwork ever. And I'm going to see if you guys can figure it out without skipping forward, okay? Listen to me for a minute. This band was on the verge of splitting, okay? They had had a lot of success, and they had done a lot of great albums. They had six or so albums that had done fairly well, but they were on a decline in popularity. The world was starting to not care about them, despite them doing just great album every time. Every album they did was perfect, but the worldview and their discography were going in two different directions. The band members were having problems with each other. And in 2001 and 2 and 3, it seemed as if this band was over. They were releasing compilation albums, greatest hit album, to kind of conceal the fact that they were over and done with. There were some side projects which could have, in a different parallel universe, could have. I have a burned copy of it too. I've had to buy so many copies of this record. Things could have went badly for this band, but they decided to persevere and get through it. They had started in the 80s, and by the 2000s they were really struggling to find their identity, to find where they fit in with the modern popular music scene. And they wrote one record, kind of didn't go so well. They wrote another record, kind of, we'll get to that in a minute. They wrote another record as a different band, and they kind of started to find their footing a little bit in that project. And then the lead singer was walking down the street one day, and he came up with a lyrical idea, and he kept it. And he felt like something was really great and iconic about it, sort of a character idea that he had based on himself, sort of in a religious perspective. And then as the band was working in the studio together, there was a little bit of tension. There was a lot of tension between the band, and two members left one member in the studio to work on songs by himself, and he came up with this little ditty on bass guitar, and it ended up becoming a huge part of the structure of this record. Guys, I gotta go ahead and reveal it. I don't want you guys getting bored. The greatest album of all time. You guys ready? What do you guys think? Greatest album of all time. I know Rolling Stone, I think they had a Marvin Gaye record at number one. I'm not sure. Don't care. But this is the greatest album of all time. And to get the sense of what was happening. So again, the last few years before this, they were kind of on the decline. And their last few records hadn't done as well as they had hoped. And when they started recording this album, they knew something special was happening. And even, I actually traveled a few states over to see the making of this album in the studio, Heart Like a Hand Grenade. And that's what's her name? And she's holding Jesus of Suburbia's heart in her hand, or the main character. He goes by a lot of different names. I've actually done videos about the story of this album. I've done other videos about Green Day. Check them out. American Idiot, the first song, is not political as it seems. I know there's a grenade. I know it's called American. But the album is not about politics, guys. This is a love story gone wrong. That is the most basic way that I can describe it. It's an emotional roller coaster of just heartbreak and loss and death and overcoming not fitting into society. Like, I don't fit in. I'm not going to fit in. I'm not going to try to fit in. I'm not going to be punk rock to fit in. I'm not going to be normal to fit in. I'm going to be myself. And that's the highest form of art, when you represent that idea in a good way. There's nothing better. So in American Idiot, he's disenfranchised. He's lonely. He's heartbroken, but he just doesn't want to be part of society. And in Jesus of Suburbia, the 10-minute track, I don't want to say things that have already been said about this record, so I'm kind of trying to go into a little bit of a different direction with the discussion of the songs. But we gotta talk about it. I mean, these are the 13 best songs ever recorded. Jesus of Suburbia is where the man who is, he doesn't want to be the American Idiot. He kind of wants to be the Jesus of Suburbia. So it's kind of, it's kind of the opposite of the American Idiot. He's the Jesus of Suburbia. And he's frustrated, he's angry, and he leaves home. He leaves home, and on a holiday, which is one of the only political, it's not even a political song, but it talks about politics. The story on the album is essentially he runs away from home and goes to a war protest where he sort of falls in line with some punk rockers, and he kind of fits with that identity, or he kind of becomes part of that family, even though he doesn't really fit in. But they all leave him alone. They all leave him in Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And that's kind of a consistent theme through the record, is going back and forth, finding something great, trying to fit into that something great, and then losing it, and then finding yourself. Running away, finding something else, still being alone. Again, in Are We the Waiting, it kind of doesn't go back and forth on this one. It's a continuation of the loneliness and the loss in Boulevard of Broken Dreams. He's just destroyed. He's a destroyed man. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know who to turn to. And in track 6, St. Jimmy, he loses it. He goes insane. He kind of becomes super angry, super aggressive, and starts trying to fit in by using drugs, pretending to be a punk rocker, and just not really being himself. He's rebelling but it's in the negative rebellion versus the positive rebellion that you can find if you live life on your own terms. But things get worse. He's having the time of his life in St. Jimmy doing bad things. And again, there's sort of this back and forth where, and then in the next track, Give Me Novocaine, he's doing these bad things and not having a good time. He's really sad, he's lonely, he's writing notes, letters back home to his mom and stepdad, and things are not going well. He's losing his mind. He's on the verge. I'm on the verge. He's on the verge of losing his life. He's utterly destroyed by drugs and alcohol. And he's about to die. That's how this album is extremely dark and emotional. But there is a little bit of happiness in the next track, She's a Rebel. He meets a girl in all of this drug-fueled punk rock chaos. He meets this girl named, her name's, you know what I'm saying? Don't you know that I still walk around this foggy roundabout? When I get back in town, I was a different kid. Oh, some callbacks to this album on future Green Day records because this one's so good. You gotta reference it. You gotta reference it in Revolution Radio, in the trilogy, and even Father of all reference this album lyrically, and that needs to continue until we get American Idiot 2022. I'm just kidding. But things don't stay happy for long. They only stay happy for about 2 minutes or less. Because in Extraordinary Girl, things are bad again. They have a very bad relationship. And they're just both heartbroken and very sad. And they're both sick of crying. Because he's screwing up so much that their relationship's just not going anywhere. She's an honest-to-God, last of the American girls, if you will. And he's just a junkie trying desperately to fit in anywhere. And he's not real. He's not being authentic. And he's not being honest with himself or with her. And she realizes that. And she wants to fix him. But at the same time, she is such a true, honest woman that she feels like she cannot fix him. And she really knows that she can't fix him. Or perhaps that the only way to fix him is to really just say, hey, screw you. C'est la vie, adios. Too much too soon. Too little and now you're coming unglued. Too much too soon. Too late and now it sucks to be you too. Man, I'm a Green Day fan. So, that leads us to Letter Bomb. Letter Bomb is written from part of it is written from her perspective, where she's writing him a breakup letter. And, hey, you're not the Jesus of suburbia. You're not the St. Jimmy, which when I heard that line, holy crap, that really breaks the entire story into reality. Where, you may be thinking this is two different guys, Jimmy and Jesus. No. This is one man broken into three pieces, and she's really calling him out on his bull crap. You're not Jesus. You're not Jimmy. You're just a junky piece of crap. And you're not political. You're not a punk rocker. And nobody even knows who you are. So screw you. I'm leaving you tonight. I'm leaving town. I'm leaving you. Screw you forever. And that leads to Wake Me Up When September Ends. Some people say that it takes you out of the record, but it doesn't. It's a song that Billy Joe wrote about his father. I get so emotional. In the album, in the context of the album, it's about her leaving him, and he's sad. But in the real world, it's about Billy Joe's father dying from cancer when he was a young boy. And there's a legend that's just heartbreaking to even think about. Billy Joe ran away and hid after his father died. I've lost a parent, so and his mom found him in a closet. And he told his mom, wake me up when September ends. This is the definition of powerful, guys. I mean, this is... Nothing else hits home like that. Now, in the video, there's a little bit of a third definition where it's about a guy leaving to go to war, and his girlfriend doesn't want him to go. Kind of heartbreaking, too. He ends up getting killed in battle. This song has been dedicated to victims of Hurricane Katrina. I raised money for some cancer benefits and some other disasters. I think it was dedicated to Joey Ramone at one point. But again, it's kind of that hopeful theme like I was talking about during Cold and Green Day. It's really what Green Day does best. They have this horrible things happening, but it's super hopeful in its feeling and its emotion. And hey guys, what can I say? I'm filming this in October, so we survived. You know, we're home again. We're home again, and things aren't so great in 2020, but we're here. We're here. Homecoming is where sort of the idea came from, where I was talking about Mike, the bass player, was in the studio angry, and he wrote this little ditty called "Nobody Likes You, Everyone Left You, They're All Out Without You, Having Fun, Where'd You Go? Everyone left you, nobody likes you, they're all out without..." Yeah. So that kind of, he wrote that, and Trey Cool wrote Rock and Roll Girlfriend, and Billy Joe wrote a lot of other stuff. And that became sort of the basis for the album. In Homecoming, which is 5 parts, like Jesus of Suburbia, you get the death of St. Jimmy, which is letter bomb, is like a crazy explosive moment. I don't know if I can do that. I won't do that. On the album, where you find out that Jimmy kills himself, figuratively. Maybe at first you're like, holy crap, did he just kill himself? Like, that's it, that's the end of the story. But no, I think he symbolically kills that wild, drug-fueled, rebellious part of himself. And kind of, this is where he starts to find his good rebellious side. Where he's like, screw the punk rockers, screw the office job, I'm going to be me. And I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm going to get rid of the drugs. I'm going to get rid of the day job, the 9-to-5 job. I'm going to be myself.
and I can have a job, and I can be kind of punk rock if I want to be, but I don't have to be a slave to any of those systems, and I'm not going to be a slave to any of those systems, so screw everybody. So you start to get that idea here in The Death of St. Jimmy, but it's still kind of in that sad, sad lyric. He's kind of lost in East 12th Street. Nobody likes you is that real, just kind of like, yeah, nobody likes me. I'm here by myself. Rock and Roll Girlfriend is interesting in that it's like a note, a postcard sent to him by his friend Toonie, who, an interesting musical name. I've never heard of anybody named Toonie in real life. But he's got a rock and roll girlfriend. He's kind of living this wild, drug-fueled lifestyle. And he's like, things are great! But that's kind of where it's perfect because Toonie, played by Trey Cool, he's saying things are great and he's having fun, but he's kind of like the newest St. Jimmy, where St. Jimmy was having a blast from Dookie, but things are bad, right? Like he's having fun, but he's on a downward spiral towards punk rock and roll hell, I guess. So at this point in the record, Jimmy, or whatever you want to call him, is he's kind of figuring things out for himself, and he's coming home. Everybody's coming home to their hometown after all this crazy, wild adventure in the city. Maybe some of them have went to war, and everybody's coming back to Jingletown. And so Jimmy comes back home after all this wild, crazy adventure, and he's learned his lesson in a way. He's kind of learned to be himself versus a punk rocker or a nobody or a slave to the system in a cubicle on East 12th Street. And he's kind of got himself together. He's kind of got everything kind of squared away, and he's kind of accepted everything. And he's really glad to have went through all that and experienced all that. But he kind of wonders what happened to that girl that changed my life forever. Where did she go? Did she ever get married? He doesn't talk about, like, does she still think about me? But it's wild. So, when I was watching the movie about the making of this record, the band knew that this was something special. They knew that they had just kind of they had just captured lightning in a bottle as they quickly knocked out 13 tracks, basically in order. Once they kind of got that idea from the Nobody Likes You and Billy Joe's American Idiot, they kind of knocked all the rest of them out in order. And it was amazing, and this is why this is the greatest record of all time. Or this is sort of tied to that fact. When you're watching the film Heart Like a Hand Grenade, at the end of it, part of it, they're talking about how Warning wasn't really well received, how everybody hates Warning. And, that was one part, and they talked about how people were going to either love this or hate this, I think. And actually, at the very end of Heart Like a Hand Grenade, you can watch a video of Billy Joe Armstrong crying as they finish wrapping up the recording of What's Her Name, because he knew it was part of the song was just so powerful, but it was also wrapped up in the idea that we're never going to do this again. We're never going to capture this again. Like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And it's perfect. It's perfect, but it was once and done, and it's over. I have been waiting 16, almost 17 years now for an American Idiot film. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen anymore. Let's just do a quick review and then I'm out. The 3 greatest records of all time are as follows. Weezer coming in at nice number 4. That was a fun video, guys. Like and subscribe. I'm a huge Green Day nerd, as you just found out. And punk rock is my reality. It was always in my blood. I don't give a crap. I should be locked up, should be dead or in jail. Saturday, where else are you gonna be? There's no way I'm gonna end up at the disco. Make my way through the 5 sets of letters. So rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. So rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll.